I'm here today to share some tips and inspiration with the Kindred Greetings of the August 2026 paper pumpkin kit. So hopefully by now you have received your kit. Mine actually came in last week, but I got a little behind the eight ball and wasn't able to play with it until this week. So the kit is lovely. It is a great kit for sympathy cards or thinking of you or letting somebody know that you're thinking of them or just saying hello. They could also very easily be made into birthday cards as well. The kit made 9 cards total, 3 of 3 different designs, and it included a really cute stamp set. I love this greenery here. And then I love the one stamp that says, "Sending my whole heart at a time when words fall short." That's going to be a great card for somebody that maybe you need to send a sympathy card for. And there's these little spots that are a great background. And then the other sentiments are nice too. "I'm so sorry, friend, and I'm always here for you." And then our ink spot this month was the gray granite. Just a couple tips about the spots. I like to always just open them on one end. That way the other end stays attached. They need to be stored upside down, and they should be stored away from heat and sunlight. And then just to talk about the spots, the next month we are actually getting a new style of spot. I've been posting that on my blog and on my Facebook page. And I haven't seen it, but it looks like it's larger and it looks like the lid will be a little bit different. So I'm kind of excited to see that. So that'll start with the September kit. Okay, let's take a look at the cards designed as they were designed. So here's one. And the only tip I have on this one is when you go to stamp this little label here, let me get one out. Stamp it while it's inside the holder. So ink up the friend and then stamp it while it's inside the holder. It's very small, and those little small pieces are hard to stamp when they're tiny like that and they're outside of the holder. And then the rest of this goes together pretty easily. One thing that I did add to all of my envelopes was I took that leaf or greenery and I stamped on the corner of every single envelope. This one I stamped with Lost Lagoon to match the color of the envelope as well as the card. And then here is our next one. And I stamped with Calypso Coral on this one to match the card. Nothing too difficult on this one. To glue this layer down, this frame, I used my liquid glue, but you can use little liquid dots, glue dots, or you can use the tear strip that they sent us, and then to hold down, maybe just put a little glue dots in the middle there. I popped this up with a dimensional. And then last but not least is this one. And I stamped the envelope in the spot color, gray granite. Okay, so those are as designed. I always do 3 the way the kit comes, and then I start playing. And sometimes that's really hard because the kit's so lovely. I don't want to play. But this time I had pretty good time with that. So let's start out with this one first. So start out with the Lost Lagoon one. And what I did on this was I took those strips and I dry embossed them with the Fern and Flora embossing folder, and I thought that added a lot of texture to it. And then I also changed up my colors. I stamped the spot with the Lost Lagoon to kind of tie in with the dye there. I moved my hello down a little bit, and then I put a little bit of the baker's twine into a little bow there. I really like this. Now on this one you have a negative when you get through. And so save that negative because it's the perfect size for a card. And you could and do a lot of different things with this. What I did with it was I embossed it with the Lazy Daisy embossing folder. And that just added a lot of depth and definition to it. And then I just used the 2 pieces on that and laid it directly on the card. So there's a couple of alternates for that. Okay, this one, I took the frame and I turned it up inside out or upside down so that just the white was showing. And then I laid it on a piece of Lost Lagoon cardstock and then a Lost Lagoon scrap. And then I stamped with Lost Lagoon in the middle. And again, I turned this over so I could just see the white part. So that was a really easy little alternate idea. Okay, and then here's another one. On this one, I took a layer of Calypso Coral and put it behind so it popped a little bit more. And then I just moved the sentiment up into the middle instead of down at the bottom. And then this last one, I just did a few things with this. So I took a piece of one of the card bases and I dry embossed it again with that Fern and Flora embossing folder. I love this embossing folder. It's just really fun. And so I embossed the top half of the card base, and then I added a gray granite layer behind the white piece, and then I stamped that greenery piece again, and then I looped some of the baker's twine behind this and added another layer behind that, a circle punch of the gray granite, and then I stamped in gray granite. And then here's another one that kind of uses some of the pieces. So again, I had that leftover negative, and this one I embossed with the Fern and Flora. And then I took two of the stems or greenery dies, whatever you want to call them, and laid them across here. So I didn't do a whole lot of alternates this time because the card bases are white. I left them intact. A lot of times I'll cut these in half if they're patterned paper and there's designs on both sides, but this time I just left them all intact. So I think I ended up with 10 cards because I didn't do a whole lot. I did have an idea. So you have these negatives. Let me show you the negatives. When you get all through, you have these negatives. And I always kind of mention to save the negatives because I usually have a few ideas, but a lot of the other people that are creative come up with some ideas too. So what I did on this one was I just went on the outside and I fussy cut around it. And then I glued it on. I had one of these little white cards left and one of these little circles and a little baker's twine. And this will just be a little pop-in note. Maybe I'll give somebody some muffins or, I don't know, some little gift and I can write on the back of it. I have seen, I haven't tried it myself, but I have seen a few ideas where people have used this as a stencil. And they've gone in with a sponge and sponged this onto a piece of cardstock, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So if you are a member of my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, you are going to get a tutorial later this month with some alternate ideas, so watch for that. And I saw a really good idea using this, so that's my tip on that. If you are on Facebook, the Paper Pumpkin Fan Club always has a lot of great ideas, and there's often ideas with those negatives. So hang on to those negatives just to make sure you don't miss out on anything. Okay, I think that's it I have on the kit. I do have a few more things that I want to share with you. I want to remind you, if you have this catalog, and if you're one of my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, you should. It ends August 31st. So last day to order from this catalog is August 31st. There are several things that are retiring and they're on the last chance list. So check those out so that you can get them, because once they're gone, they're gone. And so that's exciting. But what's even more exciting is that the September to December catalog starts, and that starts on September 1. If you're one of my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, you should have this catalog by now. If you don't have it, please reach out and let me know, and we'll figure out why that is. I do have extras in the studio, so if you aren't one of my customers or subscribers and you need a catalog, reach out and we will make arrangements to get one to you. Okay, let's talk about next month's Paper Pumpkin. I'm going to put these up just so you have something to look at while I'm talking. By the way, all of these will be on my group's Facebook Paper Pumpkin page. So if you're one of my subscribers and you're on Facebook, then you have access to that. And I always publish all the alternates in an album there for you each month. So you can look for that here in the next day or two. And then tonight is the Paper Pumpkin Possibilities blog hop. And we have a team of demonstrators that will be showing you all kinds of alternate ideas. So watch for that. It comes out at 6 p.m. tonight. And you can find that on flyingstamper.blogspot.com. Okay, next month's kit is a card kit, and it makes 10 cards, 5 of 2 designs, so that's a little bit different. We're going to get 10 cards. We usually get 9. You will get that new ink size spot. The kit is gratitude focused, so it sounds like it'll be really great for thank yous. Hopefully Thanksgiving. It's called Aspen, and it looks very fallish to me. The colors are Basic Black, Cajun Craze, Daffodil Delight, Early Espresso, Golden Glow, Gray Granite, Mossy Meadow, and Pumpkin Pie. Our spot will be in Early Espresso. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you can do that now. If you're not a current subscriber and you want to get that kit, be sure you do it by September 10th. There is a post on my blog that I posted a couple days ago with the link to go and do that and more information about the kit. If you need any help or you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help you. Okay, I hope you have a really fabulous day and you enjoy your kit. And if you have any questions or need any help, please reach out. Until next month, take care.